What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Boss Ladies Live radio show. Speaker Studios, sponsored by Boss Ladies Inc. Yeah, what's up, y'all? Just had to, add value to, my household and things like that. I was thinking, as I was saying early this morning, if y'all haven't checked out Hackers Detox, Detach, Detox Your Mind Part 2 series, Think Big, 5 things I had to detox from my mind. If y'all ain't checked that out, man, check that out. I did that earlier this morning because last night show was canceled due to the fact that the connection on my end was lost. So I do apologize again for, the show cutting off and things like that. And it's happened before. We just want to make sure that tonight goes well, and I know it will. And one of the things that I elaborated on as far as detoxing my mind is thinking bigger about the situation that I'm in. I'll reiterate, just in case you just checking in or didn't get a chance to check out the show. Once again, if you do, please feel free to do that as soon as you can. So I have some neighbors in the building that are older than me. They're having health problems. And it must be hard to have a family member with health problems. I know that because I'm also living with a relative that's having issues with their health because they are getting older. But I did say that respect is everything. I know people are going through. There's some of you out there that are heartbroken, need help, need a way to get out of the situation. The thing about it is, it doesn't give you the right at the end of the day to be disrespectful. And I think we forget about that when we're going through, when we're hurting. Because like a great philosopher, Warren Woodward, said, hurting people hurt people. And that's real. But as a leader, what do you do when you're the target and it has nothing to do with you? First, you don't need to be angry. You need to get rational and be relatable to the other person. And I know for some of us, putting other people first is hard, but a person like me is simple because I've learned the hard way to put myself in another person's shoes. If I was unhealthy or I was sick, would I like to hear all kinds of noise? And I've been on days where I was sick and I didn't want to be bothered with anything. And then there's days where I wasn't sick and I didn't want to be bothered with anything. But the communication is what my concern was. I mean, if it was that much of a problem with me playing my music, doing the radio show, I didn't have headphones. Every time I get some headphones, they either break on me or they're too cheap or they just don't fit the criteria that I'm trying to work with as far as sound goes. So these people have just came back up under us, and it wasn't the nighttime that was a problem. It was the morning hours. Nobody told me that. So when you take a broom and bang it on the ceiling, that's just letting me know you're being rude and disrespectful and you don't have no, respect for a person because you're angry. And I've noticed this for the last few months with people that I really, really know, and you know who you are. I don't have to say it, but you think you can get so comfortable with me that you think you can do and say or whatever. And that's not the case. And I had to really address it today. So I was a little upset about it because this is not the first time that happened and they refused to communicate effectively where I don't feel resentful and they don't either. It's like I'm not getting an option to express how I feel about the situation because the only thing I wanted you to do is talk to me like an adult. Talk to me with some sense, calm down, quit tripping, all that other stuff. So with that being said, I added value, which is having a positive attitude. I added value. I went down there and took my little few dollars and got me some headphones. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm on headphones tonight because I refuse to be disrespected again. And a lot of times we have to think about that. If we don't want to be disrespected, we shouldn't put ourselves in a disrespectful situation that we know is going to backfire on us later. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. I'm just reiterating on it to close it out. I did share EDU, Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz, PhD, pages 87 through 91. The number 4 question was, what determines how much you're worth? If I'm just as important as the next person and I don't like drama in my life, I need to make the necessary changes, So what do you think? Leave your comments below. And as I invite everybody and we jam into the playlist tonight, just think about some of the things that I said, because I definitely will be thinking about that. And the 5 things that I thought about from detoxing from is what other people say, think, or do, looking at my past, leaving toxic relationships, self-doubt / not deserving, and who I am, D-Ski versus Boss Lady, Dee Dee, Diane, Deidre Diane, who is she? And that's who I need to portray. And if I don't see another person portray what I want to see, then I'll make the necessary changes to portray that. So when we come back, we'll get started. And hopefully you're just excited as I am on how to tonight detoxify your mind. And there's some things that you can start doing. And there's also some things I wanted to elaborate on before we get the jam session going. I like to read an article about detoxing your mind in 5 minutes for our EDU. And I also want to elaborate on 5 ways to get your unwanted emotions under control. Because particularly today, I got under a lot of emotions. It was a bad day. Things didn't go the way I thought they would. Trying to start a good week off and it just didn't go that way. And I wasn't happy about it in business and in personal life. So each side had its own negativity today. And I was just overwhelmed. I didn't want to feel that way, but I did. And so now I'm going to get out of these unwanted emotions under control. And it's by Susan Cross Whitbourne, PhD, from her blog, Fulfillment at Any Age. And you can find that at www.psychology.today.com/us/blog/fulfillment-any-age/2015-get-your-under-control. 5 ways to get your unwanted emotions under control. Anger, disappointment, and resentment can't be erased, but they can be evaded. This was posted on February 7, 2015. Emotions are a vital part of our everyday lives. Whether you're having a good laugh over a text message or feeling frustrated in rush hour traffic, you know that the highs and lows you experience can significantly affect your well-being. Your ability to regulate those emotions in turn affects how you're perceived by the people around you. If you're laughing at that text during a serious meeting, you're likely to get resentful looks from others in the room. On the other hand, if you react with rage at a driver who cuts you off in traffic, you can engender unwanted attention and perhaps even risk your life. The study of emotions is not an exact science. Psychology still debate the body-mind connection in emotional reactivity. Don't have a complete taxonomy over emotions and are even uncertain about whether emotions are the cause or result of the way we construct or construe the world. However, there are advances being made in understanding the concept of emotional regulation, the process of influencing the way emotions are felt and expressed. Stanford University psychologist James Gross, 2001, proposed a four-stage model to capture the sequence of events that occurs when our emotions are stimulated. And what he calls the modal model, a situation grabs our attention, which in turn leads us to appraise or think about the meaning of the situation. Our emotional responses result from the way we appraise our experiences. Some emotional responses require no particular regulation. If the emotion is appropriate to the situation and helps you feel better, there's no need to worry about changing the way you handle things. Laughing when others are laughing is one example of an appropriate reaction that helps you feel better. Expressing road rage may also make you feel better, but it's not appropriate or particularly adaptive. You could express your frustration in other ways that allow you to release those angry feelings, or instead try to find a way to calm yourself down. Calming yourself down when you're frustrated, of course, may be more easily said than done. If you tend to fly off the handle when aggravated and express your outrage to everyone with earshot or on the other end of an email, your emotions could be costing you important relationships, your job, and even your health. An inability to regulate emotions is, according to Gross and his collaborator, Horia, here we go with those, Jazariri, 2014, if I'm saying your name wrong, I do apologize, at the root of psychological disorders such as depression and borderline personality disorder. And you know what that means. Although more research is needed to understand the specific role of emotional regulation in psychopathology, this seems like a promising area of investigation. For example, people with social anxiety disorder can benefit from interventions that help them change the way they appraise social situations, as shown by research on cognitive behavioral therapy. Many others functioning at a less than optimal level of physiological health, Gross and Mr. J maintain, could similarly benefit from education about how better to manage their emotions in daily life. Fortunately, you can handle most of the work involved in regulating your emotions well before the provoking situation even occurs. By preparing yourself ahead of time, you'll find that the problematic emotion goes away before it interferes with your life. 1. Select the situation. Avoid circumstances that trigger unwanted emotions. If you know that you're most likely to get angry and you're in a hurry and you become angry when others force you to wait, then don't leave things for the last minute. Get out of the house or office 10 minutes before you need to, and you won't be bothered so much by pedestrians, cars, or slow elevators. Simply, if there's an acquaintance you find completely annoying, then figure out a way to keep them bumping into that person. 2. Modify the situation. Perhaps the emotion you're trying to reduce is disappointment. You're always hoping, for example, to serve the perfect meal for friends and family, but invariably something goes wrong because you've aimed too high. Modify the situation by finding recipes that are within your range of ability so that you can pull off the meal. You may not be able to construct the ideal souffle, but you will manage a pretty good frittata. 3. Shift your attentional focus. Let's say that you constantly feel inferior to the people around you who always look great. You're at the gym and can't help but notice the regulars on the weight machines who manage to lift 3 times as much as you can. Drawn to them like a magnet, you can't help but watch with wonder and envy at what they're able to accomplish. Shifting your focus away from them and onto your fellow gym rats who pack less punch will help you feel more confident about your own abilities. Even better, focus on what you're doing, and in the process, you'll eventually gain some of the strength you desire. 4. Change your thoughts. At the core of our deepest emotions are the beliefs that drive them. You feel sad when you believe to have lost something, anger when you decide that an important goal is thwarted, and happy anticipation when you believe something good is coming your way. By changing your thoughts, you may not be able to change the situation, but you can at least change the way you believe the situation is affecting you. In cognitive reappraisal, You replace the thoughts